Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all. Let's start by saying a few words about me. I am Vidya Bharati, first B at Max Department from Shakti College of Education for Women, Vattanjatram, Dindigul. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is using interpersonal approach in classroom management and strategies for improving student engagement in learning from the subject Learning and Teaching, Unit 9 Teacher-Student Relationship. Let's move on to the topic using interpersonal approach in classroom management. Among the four kinds of classroom management activities, there is more scope for using humanistic approach in guiding the execution and controlling than in planning and organizing. In the techniques of presenting the subject content, enlisting the cooperation of students will make them feel that their teacher is giving more importance to them and showing care and considerations towards them. For example, when the teacher tries to demonstrate a science experiment, he can involve all the students in setting the apparatus for the demonstration plan and proceeds and ask them to observe the different events and record the measurements. Next, controlling refers to maintaining order and discipline in the classroom so that the teaching learning process proceeds smoothly. Sometimes one or two students may disturb the class discipline and affect the learning environment. For example, they may disobey the teachers and pick up unnecessary arguments. In that situations, the teacher should decide one of the actions to take, like sending them out of the classroom or giving punishments or report to the headmaster and get their parents to school, etc. Whether the teacher should continue his unpleasant relations with such disruptive students in the class was raised by Heather Davis, Jessica Summers and Lauren Miller of University of Washington, USA in their book Humanistic Management Orientation in Classroom. According to them, the teacher should try to develop a growth mindset in them, which means the teacher should reform such students and encourage them to self-regulate their behavior and thereby develop social skills. On the other hand, if the teacher punishing them or expel them from the school is not the correct solution, the teacher should closely move with them, understand the misbehavior of them and try to remove them. Besides this, the teacher should express his care and concern and converse with them to instill the confidence that they are capable of self-regulating themselves. Generally, when students three important needs like sense of competence, relatedness, autonomy are not met, they violate the general norms. By removing these mistakes, the teacher moving closely with the students and discuss about any help they require, it becomes easier for the teacher to make all the students self-directed. Through this approach, the teacher could easily maintain discipline and order in the classroom. Next topic is strategies for improving student engagement in learning. Let's see the meaning of student engagement in a task. If the task is interesting and provides immediate results, the students gets fully involved in a task. The research findings of Gettinger and Ball demonstrates that the students spend more time during instruction, they learn more. Next one is levels of student engagement in learning activities. Skletchy defines 5 levels of student engagement in learning. First level is authentic engagement. Students are immersed in work that has clear meaning and immediate value to them. For example, reading a book on a topic of personal interest. Second level is ritual compliance. The student think that the work has little or no immediate meaning to them, but there are extrinsic outcomes of value they engage in that work. Without personal interest, students will be doing a job as a sort of ritual. For example, if the students are not interested in an assignment in a subject, but if scoring a minimum mark is compulsory for passing an examination, they will take it up without any interest for the sake of fulfilling their requirement. Third level is passive compliance. If the students see little or no meaning in that assigned work, but they spend effort to avoid negative consequence, that is, fearing to face the punishment for not doing it, or one taking up the work unwillingly. Fourth level is retreatism. Students are disengaged from assigned work and make no attempt to comply, but they not disturb their others of learning. Fifth level is rebellion. In this, students refuse to do the task, act disruptive, and attempt to substitute alternative activities. This makes it evident that the best way of teaching students is to engage them fully in learning and complete full lesson. Next one is three types of classrooms with different levels of student engagement. Sketchy outlined three categories that can be used to measure the level of engagement for an entire classroom. First one is engaged classroom. In the engaged classroom, all students are engaged at least some of the time, or that most students are engaged most of the time. Passive compliance and retreatism is rarely observed in the engaged classroom, and rebellion is not exist. Second one is the complaint classroom. The complaint classroom is a picture of traditional classroom climate. This type of classroom is orderly and most students will appear to be working. While there is little evidence of rebellion, retreatism is a very real danger, as it is very common in the complaint classroom. Third one is the off-task classroom. In this classroom, retreatism and rebellion are easily observed. This type of classroom will have some degree of authentic and ritual engagement along with passive compliance as well. Teachers spends most of their time dealing with rebelling students rather than teaching lessons. Next topic is 7 ways to increase student engagement in the class. First one is using the 10:2 method. For every 10 minutes of instruction, allow the students 2 minutes to process and respond to the instruction. By having them write what they have learned, get their doubts clarified by the teacher, or by discussing the content with a fellow student. Second one is incorporating movement in the instructional process. During classroom instruction, if students have to sit in the same place without movement, they must get boredom and fatigue. Hence, there should be a provision for the students to physically function during classroom teaching. For example, by moving to a certain spot in the classroom, writing on the blackboard, or those who know the answer for the question raising up their hands. Third one is picking up the proper pace. One misconception is that the teacher must go slow while teaching for students to really understand and engage in a lesson. But according to the research findings of Kiernan and Fink, Williams and Ensberger indicate that teaching in a slow pace and presenting the subject content in the class is not much fruitful. Fourth one is provision for frequent and effective feedback during classroom instruction. During classroom instruction, teachers should ask questions in between and try to get answers from students. If there are any errors in their answers, they may be pointed out gently, clarifying the points more clearly by giving additional explanations so as to make the students understand their mistakes. Fifth one is allowing students 5 to 7 seconds of think time when asking a question. After a question is asked in the class, the teacher should give time for think up to 5 to 7 seconds to answer a question. Then one of the students should be called in randomly to answer the question. Sixth one is periodically pause mid-sentence. Giving a small pause in the middle of the statement and asking students to complete it is one of the methods to increase student engagement in learning. Seventh one is making students use 3-2-1 method for summarizing at the end of a lesson. After the teaching is over, the students should be asked to write the following about their learning in the day's class. First one is 3 important things they learned. Second one is 2 interesting things. Third one is one question they have about what was taught.